The world you live in is not complete. It is a fragment, a reflection, a shadow cast on the wall. But if you look only at the shadow all your life, it will become the only truth for you. You've been sitting in this cave since childhood. It is not made of stone, it is made of beliefs, fears, habits. It is not outside. It is inside. Its borders are the borders of your perception of yourself. Its walls are your perception of the world. And shadows move on these walls. Images that you believe more than your senses. They come from screens, from other people's expectations, from voices that have long been your inner voice. Someone told you who you should be and you believed them. Someone taught you that it's shameful to feel, and you learned to be silent. Shadow after shadow, and now you have become a part of it. Part of the theater that spins on the wall. In this cave, even pain is normal. Even anger is normal. Because everyone is angry. Because everyone is silent. And when there are hundreds of people like you next to you, it seems that this is life. When everyone is shackled, the shackles are no longer frightening. They are a form of stability. A cave is not a place. It is a state. The illusion that you control everything. That you know who you are. That you understand how everything works. But every shadow on the wall is not real. It's just a projection. Something that once made sense but has long since lost touch with the living. And until you see the light source, you think that the shadow is real. And it's also safe. Because the shadow does not look back. It does not deny. It does not demand that you be alive. It just repeats the same movement forever, familiar, mechanical, predictable. And you are also a shadow in it. You do not act, you react. You don't choose, you repeat. You do not live, you exist. It's not about someone else. It's about you. It's about all of us. Because everyone goes through this cave. Everyone lives in the shadows at first. But not everyone comes out. Because light blinds. The truth tears you apart. And the first thing you need is to see that you are in a cave. Not the body but the consciousness. Not in shackles but in dreams that you took for truth. The power is that even in this darkness, even in this hopeless echo of other people's voices, something is alive in you. Something that does not sleep. Something that hears. That is watching. The silence inside you is not broken. It is simply forgotten. But it is there. And it remembers what light looks like. A powerful conclusion. Until you know what light is, you believe in the shadow. But the shadow will never become home. Because even the clearest shadow is only lost light. Sometimes it comes unexpectedly. A quiet whisper among the usual sounds. As if someone from behind the wall called your name. A voice that neither asks nor orders. It is just there. It does not sound louder than shadows, but for some reason you cannot ignore it. Because it is real. This voice is not like your thoughts. It doesn't sound like doubts or fear. It is not the voice of your mother or teacher. It is not the voice of society or advertising. It does not say what you should do. It just is. And every time you hear it, you remember for a moment that you are alive. And then a crack begins. In the very fabric of the familiar. A crack that cuts through the picture created from shadows. At first, it is barely noticeable. You continue to live as you always have, but something is no longer right. The colors seem dull. Things seem empty. Words seem fake. This is the moment when the old reality is no longer able to hold you. You are not out yet, but you can no longer fully believe. And this is where resistance begins. Because the system inside you is designed to survive in a cave. It is afraid of light. Because light is the unknown. And the unknown is a threat. And at this point, fear appears. But not the fear that frightens from the outside. It is deeper. The fear of losing yourself. After all, your entire identity is built on shadows. On roles. On what you have learned to portray. And if you stop being that, who will you become? This is where most people stop. Because to leave the cave is not to escape. It means to die in the old image. To leave everything familiar. Leave even the pain you are used to. Because the only way to go is to go through yourself. The voice does not force you. It is waiting. And every time you make a choice, to stay or to approach the wall, it is there. It doesn't push, but its presence grows. And sooner or later you reach a point where you can no longer live as you used to. Because even fear is no longer an excuse. Then you touch this wall. Not physically but with your mind. And you realize that it is not as strong as it seemed. It is made of the ideas you have given power to. And then, for the first time, you ask not a question but a step. One step. A small one. But a real one. A powerful conclusion. Light does not scream. It does not fight. It just is. And as soon as you stop for a moment, you will hear it. Because the one calling you is you, the real you. And it is waiting. Translated with deephell.com, free version. When you take that first step, everything starts to crack. But not outside. It's inside. What you thought you were begins to crumble. Like an old mirror that for years reflected not your reflection, but a mask. You start losing your name. Not literally, but what you called yourself in your head. Confident, strong, good, bad. The one who does not make mistakes. The one who cannot be loved. The one who is needed by everyone. All these selves begin to dissolve. It's not just painful. It is panic. Because personality is your home. And now it's on fire. And you are standing in the middle of the ashes, not knowing if you can build something else. But this is a necessary fire. Because only in it does the false burn away. Only in it can the seed of the true be found. People rarely want transformation. He wants comfort. He wants it to get better, but he wants nothing to change. But from the inside you are no longer satisfied with what was. You cannot go back. The shadow no longer deceives you. And so you sit in silence without the old words, without the old roles. People around you don't understand what's wrong with you. The world continues to work according to the usual scenario. But you can't anymore. Because something has grown in you and it no longer fits into your old name. Then you are tempted to make a new mask. A more conscious role. The role of the enlightened one. Wise. Free. But this is the same trap, only with a different name. Because the point is not to have a new name. The point is in the absence of the need for a name. The true self does not need signs. It is not described by words. It is felt. It is a deep silence that is not afraid to be nothing. Because everything grows out of it. And when you stop in the midst of this inner ash for the first time without looking, without running, you hear yourself. Not the one who was taught to be someone. But the one who was before all the words. Before all the roles. Before all the fears. And he does not say, I am. He just breathes. And that is enough. A powerful conclusion. As long as you hold on to your name, you are living in someone else's story. But once you allow yourself to be nothing, you become who you really are. Translated with deephell.com free version. This is not a victory. It is not a moment of triumph, not a scene from a movie. The exit from the cave is silence. Absolute silence. No drama, no fanfare. Just a step. Just one step. When you have nothing to lose. When you're not looking for answers. When you just walk. And at first, the darkness is even greater. Because your eyes are used to shadows. They can't see the light. It seems to you that things have gotten worse. That everything is useless. That the truth hurts more than a lie. But it's just a withdrawal. Not of the soul. Of an image. Of the old way of seeing. Your world begins to change. Not immediately. At first, almost imperceptibly. You just don't react the way you used to. Where you once wanted to run away, you now stop. Where you used to be silent, you now speak. Where you used to struggle, you now feel. Leaving the cave is not an escape. It is a return. Not to others. To yourself. To the one who has always been there but remained in the shadows. And this you is not perfect. It is vulnerable. He's alive. He cares. But he is real. The world outside the cave is not a fairy tale. There is pain here. There is chaos. There are no guarantees. But there is something more, a deep presence. Freedom from masks. And respect for your own path. You see how others are still sitting in the shadows. How they shout at shadows, believe in shadows, pray to shadows. And your heart shrinks because you know this pain. But you don't scream anymore. You just are. And this is enough for others to feel that there is another way. The way out is not the end. It is the beginning. A real one. Without roles. Without a plan. Without promises. Only with the truth. And with someone who has gone through everything and stayed. A powerful conclusion. You don't leave the cave to find something new. You leave to return to yourself. And in this return is your true freedom. Each of us has a face that we wear in public. A smile, a role, a style, a voice. This is not a fake. It is a persona. Created not out of evil, but out of the need to live among others. To be accepted. So that you are not destroyed. To have at least some place in this world. And at first it even helps. The persona provides a structure, a tacit agreement with society. It teaches you how to be comfortable. How to be your own. But over time something breaks down. You start to feel that it's not you. This is your shell. Your facade. Sometimes it's beautiful. Sometimes comfortable. But it is dead. The problem is not that we have a persona. The problem is when we forget that it is a mask. And we start to believe that we are it. Obedient. Successful. Correct. Honest. Kind. Intelligent. Necessary. These are not traits. They are a suit in which it is stuffy. To disconnect from the person is like taking off your clothes in the middle of a crowd. It is vulnerable. It's scary. Uncomfortable. Because it gave protection. But without it, something deeper comes. The voice of the real me. Not the one they want to see. The one you are when no one is looking. Your persona can be successful but lonely. It can have thousands of friends but not know itself. It can smile when it is screaming inside. And only you know the price of this game. Because every day you wear a mask is another day when you don't breathe to the fullest. A persona is not an enemy. It is a tool. But only when you hold it in your hands, not when it holds you. True freedom comes when you allow yourself to be different. Imperfect. Not fitting in. Not convenient. But alive. It's not about rebellion. It's not about protest. It is about a deep consent to be. To be without form. Without a role. Without expectations. And when you take off your mask, the world doesn't always applaud. But you breathe for the first time. A powerful conclusion. As long as you wear a mask, life never really touches you. But once you take it off, the world sees you for the first time. And you yourself. There is a part of you that you don't want to know about. The part that is angry. Who is jealous. Who lies. Who wants things you are ashamed to even think about. This voice you have learned to hide. To suppress it. To pretend it doesn't exist. But it is there. It is your shadow. It's not from the outside. It is not a demon. It is not evil. It is a part of you that you have not accepted. That you once said, you can't have it. Ugly. It's a shame. And you listened. And you hid it. But the shadow does not disappear. It grows in the darkness, feeds on silence, and eventually begins to rule from within. The one who does not know his shadow becomes its slave. A person who is convinced of his own righteousness is the most dangerous, because they do not see where evil really comes from. It is not outside. It is inside. And until you recognize it, yes, this is me too, it will rule your life. Accepting the shadow does not mean living in the dark. It means to stop lying to yourself. It is the ability to hold your gaze when you see in the mirror not a hero, but someone you once despised. And to say, I see you. We are together now. The shadow comes in dreams, in mistakes, in sudden outbursts of emotion. It is in the hatred that we do not recognize. In the fears we carry for years. In the desires that we call wrong. But when you enter into a dialogue with the shadow, something changes. Instead of struggle, strength comes. The shadow does not want to destroy you. It wants to be heard. And when you let it speak, it becomes an ally. Not an enemy. Not a punishment. But a source of depth, insight, and strength. Because only those who have seen their shadow know the true light. This is the most unpleasant thing you can do, to look at yourself without any embellishment. But it is also the most powerful. Because it is there, in the darkness of the unconscious, that not only your pain is hidden but also your freedom. This is a powerful conclusion. As long as you reject your shadow, it owns you. But as soon as you recognize it, it becomes your strength. Deep inside every soul there is a half that we cannot see. In a man it is his anima. His inner woman. Vulnerable, deep, intuitive. The one who cries in his dreams. The one who wants to love, not win. And in a woman her animus. The inner man. Clear, direct, strong. The one who holds on when the heart is breaking. These archetypes are not about gender. They are about integrity. Because everyone's soul consists of both. But the world has taught us otherwise. Men are supposed to be tough. Women to be soft. And in this illusion we lose half of ourselves. We reject it. We suppress it. We forget. A man who is afraid of his anima becomes callous. It is hard for him to cry, hard to love, hard to be. He does not trust his feelings. Because they seem to him to be weakness. And he runs away to strength. Into control. Into the cold. But there is emptiness inside. A woman who is afraid of her animus does not trust her decisions. She waits for external support, not realizing that it is already within her. Her strength is not in hard skin but in clarity. In the ability to stand upright without losing tenderness. But if this part is not awakened, it wanders. It doubts. It breaks down. When anima and animus start talking, you hear the full voice of the soul for the first time. This is not a struggle between the masculine and the feminine. It is a dance. It's a balance. Equilibrium. And then the man becomes deeper. And a woman becomes more holistic. Not because they have become someone else, but because they have finally become themselves completely. Your tenderness is not your weakness. And your firmness is not your cruelty. These are parts of you. And when you combine them, a deep presence appears that does not shout, but changes everything around. It speaks with its eyes. It lives with the heart. It acts without a doubt. Anima and animus are not images from fairy tales. They are your inner guides. They will show you the way to stop being a quarter or half. How to assemble yourself as a whole. Not from the outside, It's inside. A powerful conclusion. You will not become strong by rejecting your tenderness. And you will not become free by forgetting your support. Only by connecting them do you return to yourself. There is someone in you who always laughs, even when it hurts. Someone who doesn't follow the rules, who turns everything upside down. This is not madness. It's not chaos. This is a trickster. A trickster appears when the system you believe in starts to crack. When all your right things don't work anymore. When the role you have been living in no longer holds. It is not gentle. He does not comfort. His laughter is cutting. His truth is uncomfortable. But it is the truth that awakens. This is the archetype of change. He comes to break your illusions, to show how you deceive yourself, how you play the good guy, how you build an identity based on fear. A trickster is not an enemy. He does not want to humiliate. He wants to free you. But he does it in such a way that you can't resist. When he comes, chaos begins. Old ideas are destroyed. You start to doubt everything. What seems stable turns out to be an illusion. But this is his gift. He does not break you. He breaks your shackles. The world does not like the trickster. Because he is naughty. He's not convenient. Not predictable. He can't be fitted into the system. He plays but he doesn't joke. Because his game is more serious than any truth. It is a game that tears off your masks one by one. And when you stand without them, freedom comes. A trickster is not a destroyer. It is an awakener. It reminds you that you are not who you think you are. You are deeper, stranger, stronger. But to see this, you have to let yourself lose control. Stop being serious. Stop playing a role. His energy is alive. It is wild. It forces you to live off the beaten path. Makes you feel. The presence of the trickster is the moment when your story begins to crack to release the true essence. A powerful conclusion. You won't find yourself okay. But you will find yourself in the truth that comes after everything is destroyed. And it's the trickster who takes you there laughing but surely.